Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So in this video, we're going to cover the third section of Barouki, Otherlands Very Hard Area 3. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. Also, I do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So as mentioned in the first video, in section 3, there will still be 5 more mob battles, and all of them are level 80, very tough to kill, and you do need 2 AoEs to wipe them out. Being that the Plum Goblin is weak to slash, make sure you have Annabelle act last in order for you to slash it and kill it off. Now in section 3 of this area 3 of Barouki, there are 2 boss battles, and so we're going to be tackling those back to back. Keep in mind that we do also want to keep having the half bar AF in order to take on any random shiny mobs that may come our way. Otherwise, they will run away on the first turn. So always activate your AF when you do see it in order to kill it off. And again, you can see I'm making use of Amy's Valor Chant to either increase the power and speed of my team in order to kill and act first. In this case, notice that I'm still recovering from the last boss battle in section 2 of this area, in which case I rotated people to the back, not only to recover MP, but also HP. So being that this is section 3, there are 2 treasure chests, and of course in section 4 there will just be the 1, for a total of 6 treasure chests in area 3 here. Let me know in the comments below if you're planning to ever revisit Otherlands, or you're just going to leave it be. For myself, since I'm actually at home this week, I'm probably just going to be doing this once for your benefit and for your, hopefully for your entertainment, and then afterwards maybe visit some of the other lands in terms of farming for shiny mobs. Most likely El Zion, if you guys want to watch that. And again, let me know in the comments below if you want to see an El Zion Otherlands Very Hard run. I am missing some materials, and I actually only upgraded the 2 staffs to about level 3 or so. Whereas in this case, I'm just farming boss and shiny mob drops. I will say that it's nice for me to go back here because at least I have a use for OG Leclerc. Being in Garrelia and other overlands, I'm not really finding that she's got enough raw damage power in order for me to wipe it out. Okay, so we're going to take on this boss first. So this is the, I guess, Shiny Plum Goblin. And if you haven't seen it already, this one actually has 4 colors, and each one corresponds to 1 weakness and 1 resistance. So in terms of red, it will be resistant to, I believe it's fire, and vulnerable to water. Now in my case, since I'm stacked with a wind team, we want to force reset the game until we encounter the yellow light here. So, you know, just in my case with Apple, you just flick it away and restart the app, and then you can see if it's a different color or the color you want. There are 4 different colors, so you just make sure you have the right color, and then you can lay the smackdown on the enemy. In this case, a couple of turns will be enough to activate the AF right away, and we'll be able to wipe it out in 1 shot. Especially, again, note that we do have both manifest weapons for our wind DPS team, and double hurricane for Amy 5-star as well. Man, it's much easier coming back here than when I first did it last year. It's actually enjoyable now. I remember over 40 minutes for 1 full run, whereas this is probably about half the time.
Big goof.
Yep, no problem at all. So if you are planning to tackle the Otherlands, make sure you do have the appropriate team. In this case, the boss battle here is weak to wind for a lot of those. Of course, in Ratley Otherlands, the primarily, especially in Area 3, they're weak to water. However, in Areas 1 and 2, they do have varying weaknesses. Some of the raptors, for example, are weak to earth. Others, like the hornets, were weak to pierce. So just make sure you do either watch videos to tell you which weaknesses each boss battle has, or in the case of, bringing a varied team depending on what you're expecting to fight. Now this particular battle, I'm not as well equipped to take down as quickly. The reason why is the Sleepy Abatos has a 20 turn countdown, and it actually has weaknesses to magic attacks only, and resistance to all physical attacks. Also, keep in mind that I did burn my half AF bar on the Shiny Plum Goblin, so we have to work with 0 AF bar. Now, one thing to note is that if you do want to build up your AF bar either before each boss battle or after these 2 boss battles in order to tackle Area 4, I would highly recommend not killing the Horror, which is the Forest Guardian in Section 2 of this area. And the reason why is that you can go back after you kill off the first 3 bosses that I've shown here, and then you can power up your half AF bar and recover some MP and HP. Now note that also I have not used my food yet, so after powering up my half bar AF, I can use my food and wander into Section 4 of this Moonlight Forest area. So this boss does have a 7 turn rotation, and you do have to last 20 turns. Now if you do have a varied team which includes mages here, you'll wipe the floor with it because the boss is weak to magic attacks while being resistant to physical attacks. In my case, you just have to be careful at turns 4 and 7 of each rotation, because it does a sleep attack, single target, and then it kind of self-boosts itself a couple of times, and then finally on turns 4 and 7 of each rotation, it kind of does that kind of earth AoE. And so using an int and power debuff as well as a type shield, just like most boss battles, will do very well. So you can see that it's gathering power and is about to do the earth AoE. So whenever you see it gathering power and having that blue power boost to itself, you know that its AoE is coming. So in this case, the first round I didn't do any sort of tanking. In round 2 of the 7 turn rotation, which is now turn 14, we had Annabelle take the hit, and obviously being that she's got naturally high spirit as well as physical resistance, she can tank it with no problem, and we're going to just move everyone back in. So you note that the single target attacks are not really the problem. It's mostly the sleep status as well as those earth physical AoEs. Now note that in a couple more turns, on turn 20, it will go to sleep, and at that time it switches resistances from physical resistance to physical weakness and vice versa. So it will be resistant to magic attacks and vulnerable to physical. So we're just going to outlast it since we don't have any magical mages here, and we can just bring in our team in preparation for the AF to boost. Now to be fair, if you do have any sort of multi-hit DPS team, you will not have any requirement to do boosting of your AF bar by having a bunch of Valor Chants, because the boss, being that it's weak to basically any attack, all multi-hits will keep the bar going strong and you'll be able to wipe it out. So even someone as weak as Leclerc will actually do very well. And of course Azami has her triple hit. So even when I tackled this back in last May when there weren't any manifest weapons, having these multi-hit characters were more than enough to end this particular boss. And so you can see that I've set up the poison and pain, and after that AoE, I believe that it's about time for it to be vulnerable. So you do the single sleep, and the turn right after this will be turn 20, in which case it's going to be vulnerable to absolutely everything. So I did the charge status for Amy, being that I didn't rotate AF in, and it falls asleep. And note that if you do not kill it here, just because it's sleep doesn't mean it doesn't act. The sleepiness actually powers it up and it does a bunch more hits, so keep that in mind as well. And you can see very early on we still have the full AF bar, keeping on hitting the enemy. And note that again, as I mentioned, it is weak to everything physical, so all of those multi-hits are going to land the smackdown over and over and over again, and there's absolutely no problems handling this particular boss after turn 20. I would say that out of the 4 bosses in Area 3 of Barouki, this one's probably the most straightforward. And my perfect sweet tooth finisher as usual. And there you have it.
Get deleted.
Yup. Sleepy Abatos is no more, at least for this particular run. So at this point, the strategy is to wander back to Section 2, fight the Forest Guardian, power up half our AF and our MP, and come back to Section 4. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.